A quick note before this video properly begins. As many regular viewers will already no doubt know, my channel has been demonetized by YouTube, and so this channel is now financially reliant upon you, the viewers. For those who would wish to help out and do their bit to help combat YouTube's attempts to silence and censor me, I am now both on Patreon and Subscribestar, and am asking for donations of $1 per month. But every little bit helps, and $1 per month is basically a soda pop per month to help combat YouTube's attempts to silence me. I am also, by the way, on alt tech platforms such as Odyssey, Bitchute, and Rumble, so you may want to subscribe to me there if you haven't already. For those curious, links will be left in the description below to all of this, as well as in a pinned comment. Thank you again for your time, thanks to those who have already donated, and with that said, let's get to the video itself. Hello everyone, Ace here, and today let's talk a little bit about some news regarding Stray, because the success of this game has inevitably painted a target on its back, which has resulted in, surprise surprise, a Kotaku writer deciding to make a smear article. The writer in question being one Sissy Zhang, with their article titled "Stray Falls into the Usual Orientalism Pitfalls of the Cyberpunk Genre. The cat simulation game appropriates Asian aesthetics, but doesn't grapple with the walled city's historical legacy." Now, to be honest, I probably mispronounced that name, but honestly, smear merchants don't deserve the decency of having their names properly pronounced. So from now on, this individual will be referred to as Sissy, an appropriate name given the contents of the article, which we will now be getting into. Sissy, it turns out, has two main complaints. The first being that the game does not tackle the colonial history surrounding Hong Kong and some of the ramifications from it. As Sissy states, quote, "But that organic construction came about for painful historical reasons. The walled city was originally a Qing Dynasty era military base. It became a separate enclave from British-controlled Hong Kong after China was weakened by the Sino-Japanese War. Japan, China, and Britain all tried to lay claim to the walled city throughout its history. To ease international tensions, both China and Great Britain eventually gave up trying to govern the walled city after the end of World War II. The ensuing lawlessness fermented organized crime and opium dens. The triad gangs turned the enclave into the epicenter of Hong Kong's narcotics trade. None of this context is particularly apparent when you explore the dusty streets of Walled City 99. In other words, Sissy is upset that there isn't enough British colonialism represented in Stray. You know, despite the fact that the game has a post-human setting. And not only that, but Sissy apparently wants the history of British colonialism in Hong Kong presented to a stray cat, to educate the stray cat. Now granted, that stray cat is being played by a human player, or at least in the overwhelming majority of situations that should be the case, but the point is that from a roleplay perspective, Sissy wants all of this exposition dumped onto a stray cat. Not only is this a ridiculous thing to demand, but it would also, in my opinion, have a directly negative impact on the storytelling of the game to try to do this. And while I could point right away to the biggest reason why this doesn't make sense, I actually plan on holding on to that for now, as that big reason also happens to tackle the second major issue within the game as well, or at least what Sissy thinks is a major issue within the game, because apparently Sissy has been scarred for life due to the depiction of hats. As Sissy goes on to state, quote, "The only sentient beings left are self-aware robot companions who have built their own society in humanity's absence. I later appreciated their charming personalities, but when I first met these robots, my first thought was, why are they wearing rice paddy hats?" So yes, Sissy here got triggered because some of the robots wear a particular type of hat. And when I say some of the robots, I mean a fringe minority. As in, I only saw 3 robots wearing that type of hat in the entire slums area. And of those, one was a guardian whose job was to stand outside all day, you know, in a city that is well known for having a monsoon season, where having such a hat makes practical sense. And one of the other robots being known for being eccentric as well as adventurous, as in another character where it would make sense to wear such a hat. Yet this did not stop Sissy from pretending that literally every single robot within the game wears this hat. As later on the article states, quote, "I'm sure that the developers weren't gleefully rubbing their hands together when they decided not to implement any human characters, but Walled City 99 was yet another cyberpunk city in which people like me weren't welcome. Not unless I was a robot in a canonical hat. And that doesn't sit well with me either. Asian Robot is a Hollywood troupe that frequently dehumanizes Asian people. Ex Machina, Cloud Atlas, The Matrix. There's even a genre name for it, Techno-Orientalism. In these works, Asia is expressed through an aesthetic sensibility rather than by representing or centering actual Asian characters. Stray falls squarely within this genre. In other words, Sissy is arguing that Stray is a racist game. Now, admittedly, in the paragraph above the one I just quoted, Sissy did admit that the game wasn't intentionally racist. However, that does not stop Sissy from making the argument that the game is unintentionally racist. All because a handful of robots wear a hat. I trust you're starting to see why Sissy is such an appropriate name for the writer of this article. But let's now move on to the biggest counter-argument to every single thing that Sissy has just said here. That counter-argument being when the game takes place. As it turns out, there is a piece of evidence that suggests that the game takes place about 7 million years into the future. I need you to understand why this is a big deal, and completely destroys the arguments that Sissy has made. To put it to comparison, the species known as Homo erectus, one of the earliest human-like species to ever exist, only started appearing on this planet about 2 million years ago. This is well over 3 times as long a time span. It is such a long amount of time that it would actually be possible for the process of evolution to create an entirely new species of beings that were capable of building civilization. With this in mind, there's no reason to believe that the walled city of Stray is the same walled city we know today. And while it's possible that the lore of Stray's walled city was built upon the ruins of the old walled city, I do not see the importance of introducing British colonialism as a subplot, given that it takes place around 7 million years into the future. And on that subject, are we going to pretend that it's not possible for canonical hats to become popular again in the region within a time span of 7 million years? Especially given that there is practical reason to wear them in a place known for monsoons. With this all in mind, I'm sure you can see just how blatantly dishonest the entire article from Kotaku truly is, and why it should be viewed with nothing but absolute contempt. Sissy here is trying to call these people unintentionally racist over absolutely ridiculous non-evidence. This article is a shameful display on the part of both Kotaku and Sissy. Now, of course, for those curious, I will be leaving an archived link to it in the description below, so you can check it out for yourselves if you should so desire. Of course, only use the archived link because a regular link would just give Kotaku and Sissy money that they simply do not deserve. But I think now's a good time to call it, so this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.